Have you ever wondered what really happens to you while you sleep? Sure, your body is resting, but your consciousness is far from inactive. In fact, your mind stays busy, sometimes even more active than when you're awake. But where does it go? What is your consciousness actually doing while your body lies still? This is a question that's fascinated people for centuries. And while science and spiritual traditions have both tried to answer it, the truth is more mysterious than most of us realize. What I am about to share with you could completely change the way you think about sleep and even about the nature of consciousness itself. If you've ever had a dream so vivid it felt like you were living another life, drop a comment below and share your experience. These kinds of dreams can reveal a lot about the hidden mysteries of our minds. Sleep has always been a puzzle for humanity. Since ancient times, cultures all over the world have believed that when we sleep, our soul or consciousness detaches from the body and travels to other realms. In ancient Egypt, dreams were considered messages from the gods. In Greece, philosophers like Plato believed the soul accessed higher realities during rest. Fast forward to today, and we know that sleep is essential for brain function and memory. But there is something much deeper going on, something that goes beyond just physical rest. During certain stages of sleep, your brain activity actually resembles what happens during deep meditation or even near-death experiences. Studies show that in these states, our perception of time and reality can completely change. But here's the big question: if consciousness is just a product of the brain, why do so many people report lucid experiences, spiritual encounters, and visions that defy logic while they sleep? Are these just illusions? Or is something real happening? The answer might lie in a phenomenon that not many people know about: the journey of consciousness. Every night, as you drift off, your body enters a deep state of rest. Your brain waves slow down, and your awareness of the physical world fades away. But that doesn't mean your consciousness shuts off. In fact, while your body is recharging, your mind is still active, sometimes operating on levels that science is only beginning to understand. We cycle through different stages of sleep, but it is during REM, rapid eye movement sleep, that the most vivid dreams and the most intriguing experiences occur. But there's more to it than just dreaming. Research from places like the Monroe Institute and scientists such as Dr. Charles Tart suggest that during REM sleep, consciousness can actually detach from the physical body and access other dimensions of reality. This is what's known as astral projection, or an out-of-body experience. So why don't most people notice this happening? The answer might be in how we've been conditioned to view reality. From a young age, we're taught that if something can't be measured or touched, it doesn't exist. But people who have experienced out-of-body states often describe an indescribable sense of freedom, an expanded perception of the universe, and even the ability to visit places they've never been before. There are documented cases of people who, after entering this state, were able to describe events and locations far from where their physical bodies were. One of the most famous examples is Robert Monroe, a researcher who dedicated his life to studying the projection of consciousness and wrote several books about his journeys in non-physical realms. And here is a crucial detail: your emotional and mental state before you go to sleep can directly influence where your consciousness goes during the night. If you fall asleep feeling worried or fearful, you might end up in denser, more confusing dream experiences. But if you go to bed with a clear intention and a high vibration, you may open yourself up to spiritual experiences and profound teachings. So, next time you're about to sleep, try something different. Before you close your eyes, set a clear intention. Tell yourself, I want to remember what my consciousness experiences tonight. This simple practice can open doors to surprising discoveries about your own nature. Have you ever heard about making suggestions before sleep? Not many people realize this, but the moments right before you drift off are a powerful opportunity to program your subconscious mind and direct your consciousness toward specific experiences. In the moments leading up to sleep, your brain enters a state called the hypnagogic phase, a threshold between wakefulness and the world of dreams. In this state, your mind is extremely receptive to suggestions. Some of the greatest geniuses in history, like Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, used this technique to gain revolutionary insights. They would often fall asleep with a question on their mind, and upon waking, they'd have the answer they were looking for. So how can you use this to your advantage? It's simple. Before going to sleep, tell your brain exactly what you want. For example, I want to wake up feeling refreshed and full of energy, or may my mind find new ideas for my professional life, or even show me ways to generate more financial abundance. You can also ask, help me solve this problem while I sleep, or allow me to remember my dreams clearly upon waking. These suggestions work directly on the subconscious, which then works tirelessly during sleep to find answers and solutions. Often, you'll wake up with a sudden idea, a sense of clarity, or even a symbolic dream that reveals what you need to know. This technique of setting intentions before sleep can be combined with a desire to have spiritual experiences during the night. People who practice astral projection, for example, often repeat phrases like, "Tonight I will be conscious in the astral world," or "I want to remember everything my consciousness experiences outside the body." With repetition and practice, many report having lucid dreams, spiritual encounters, and even consciousness-expanding experiences, all while their physical body remains still in bed. It is as if your mind can cross boundaries that conventional science still doesn't fully understand. But where exactly does your consciousness go? The answer depends on several factors: your level of perception, your emotional state, and even the intention you set before falling asleep. Some people report intensely vivid dreams, others experience what we call lucid dreams, and some describe the sensation of floating outside their body, observing the world from a completely different perspective. Interestingly, similar experiences have been described by mystics, Buddhist monks, and even people who have gone through near-death experiences and DEs. Many claim that when leaving the body, they're able to access places that defy three-dimensional logic. Some talk about cities of light, others report encounters with spiritual guides, and there are even those who describe dimensions, where time and space work in completely different ways. But how can you tell if your consciousness is truly traveling or if it's just a regular dream? There are some intriguing clues. For example, there are accounts of people who, after having an out-of-body experience, were able to accurately describe details of places they had never visited physically. That's a strong indication that something real is happening. Additionally, quantum physics suggests that consciousness may not be restricted to the brain. Neurosurgeon Dr. Eben Alexander, after undergoing a deep NDE, stated that his experience on the other side was more real than his waking life. This leads us to a fascinating question. Do we access parallel realities during sleep, higher dimensions? Or are we just exploring fragments of our own mind? The answer might be found in our dreams. Many dreams are not just random creations of the brain, but rather records of our journeys through the cosmos. Before we go further, I want to know, are you interested in learning more about parallel realities? If you are, leave a comment saying, "I want to know more about parallel realities." That way, I'll know to bring you an exclusive video revealing the mysteries of these hidden worlds and how your consciousness can access them. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Dreams as messages from the unconscious have always been a mystery, studied by different cultures and spiritual traditions. For Freud, dreams were expressions of the unconscious, revealing repressed desires. Carl Jung, on the other hand, saw dreams as a portal to the collective unconscious, where universal symbols and archetypes manifest to guide our personal journey. Many people report dreams that feel like true out-of-body experiences, encounters with spiritual entities, or even glimpses of the future. These are often called lucid dreams, dreams in which you realize you're dreaming and, in some cases, can consciously interact with the environment. Spiritual traditions suggest that during sleep, our consciousness may travel through different planes of existence. In shamanism, for example, dreams are seen as spiritual journeys where the soul can receive teachings from guides or access hidden information. Some Buddhist traditions teach that dreams can be used as training for death, helping the soul navigate spiritual realms after leaving the physical body. And there is something even more surprising. Some people report having had the same dream as a friend or family member on the same night. How is this possible? Could it be a sign that our consciousness can actually interact with others while we sleep? This happens because, during sleep, our consciousness isn't isolated within the brain. It can connect to a larger field of information. Quantum physics suggests that everything in the universe is interconnected through the unified field. A deep level of reality where the separation between individual minds disappears. If thoughts and emotions have specific frequencies, it's possible that people can tune into the same frequency while they sleep, accessing the same dreamscapes. Additionally, the collective unconscious, a concept proposed by Carl Jung, suggests that we share a vast reservoir of symbols, memories, and archetypes. This would explain why people around the world report similar dreams, even if they've never met. In deep sleep states, our minds can access this universal database, allowing shared dreams to happen. There are also accounts of joint spiritual experiences where two or more people claim to have interacted in the same dream environment and, upon waking, describe identical details. This suggests that while we sleep, we can access subtle dimensions of reality where our consciousness is no longer limited by the physical body. But not all dreams are random or just repetitions of the day. Some carry important messages, signs from the universe, or even premonitions. Many people have reported dreaming about something that later happened in real life. This happens because, in the sleep state, our minds are not restricted by the rules of physical reality. In waking life, we're stuck in a linear timeline. Past, present, and future seem like fixed sequences. But when we dream, our consciousness can operate in a reality where time is flexible, accessing information beyond normal perception. Physicist John Wheeler, for example, proposed that the past can be influenced by the future in quantum mechanics experiments. If this happens on a subatomic level, could it be that our minds, when disconnected from the body, can also access information about what's yet to come? Many scientists and researchers have investigated the phenomenon of precognitive dreams, those dreams that seem to predict the future. One of the most famous cases is Abraham Lincoln, who reportedly dreamed of his own death just days before his assassination. If time works differently in the realm of consciousness, then it's possible that when we dream, we're tapping into subtle patterns of what's to come, a kind of memory of the future. But how can you tell the difference between a regular dream and a precognitive one? The key is in the intensity and clarity. Precognitive dreams tend to be extremely vivid, with specific details and a strong sense of reality. Many people who've had these experiences report waking up with a deep feeling that what they saw wasn't just a dream. If this is true, it means that while we sleep, we have the ability to connect to something greater, a universal consciousness, where all possibilities already exist. There are actually different types of dreams, and each one carries its own meaning. Symbolic dreams. These express messages from the subconscious through metaphors and images. For example, dreaming of a house might represent your internal emotional state. Precognitive dreams. These contain glimpses of the future, accessing information beyond linear time. Many people have dreamed about events before they happened. Lucid dreams. These are the dreams where you realize you're dreaming and can consciously interact with the environment, even changing the storyline. Spiritual dreams. These may involve encounters with guides, divine messages, or out-of-body experiences. So, how can you start to interpret your dreams and understand what they're trying to tell you? The key is attention and intention. If you want to remember and better understand your dreams, start practicing dream journaling. Keep a notebook by your bed and write down everything you remember as soon as you wake up. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns and messages emerging. One of the most intriguing aspects of sleep is the concept of the astral plane and its different dimensions. The astral plane is widely studied in esoteric schools like Hermeticism, Theosophy, and spiritism. According to these traditions, the astral is an intermediate level of existence where thoughts and emotions take form. It's a highly malleable dimension where reality can instantly shift according to the vibration and intention of the consciousness accessing it. People who have had out-of-body experiences during sleep often describe different layers of this plane. Some of these dimensions are bright and peaceful, full of learning and encounters with benevolent beings. Others are chaotic and dense, reflecting states of fear, anxiety, and confusion. This shows that the frequency of our vibration before sleep can directly influence the type of astral experience we'll have. Many spiritual researchers classify these dimensions into three main levels: lower astral plane, related to dense energies and manifestations of fear, guilt, and emotional imbalance. Some people describe this level as a dark and heavy environment. Middle astral plane, the most commonly accessed during sleep. Here, conventional dreams occur and interactions with projections from the subconscious mind take place. Higher astral plane, associated with elevated states of consciousness, where encounters with spiritual mentors, learning, and experiences of profound mental expansion occur. Studies on astral projection report that while sleeping, some people access these planes spontaneously, while others can consciously train to access them through specific techniques, like lucid dreaming induction or mindfulness practices before sleep. Spiritual encounters during sleep are some of the most mysterious and transformative experiences you can have. Many people report meeting light beings, spiritual mentors, deceased loved ones, and even living people. But is this just a creation of the mind, or are we actually interacting with other consciousnesses? The answer may lie in the nature of the astral plane. As we've seen, this dimension is highly malleable and responds directly to our intentions and vibrational frequencies. If, during sleep, our consciousness partially frees itself from physical limitations, it wouldn't be impossible for real spiritual encounters to happen. Many reports indicate that these encounters happen spontaneously, but they can also be intentional. People who have lost loved ones often dream about them vividly, feeling a real presence and receiving messages that, upon waking, make sense and bring comfort. For some, this may just be a psychological mechanism for processing grief, but there are impressive cases where messages and unknown details are revealed in these encounters, suggesting the experience was real. Another common type of spiritual encounter involves learning sessions. Some esoteric traditions claim that while we sleep, we can be taken to actual spiritual schools where we receive teachings about evolution, consciousness, and the universe. There are accounts of people who, upon waking, remember concepts and information they had never studied before, only to discover later that these are deep teachings found in sacred texts or ancient traditions. So, how can you have more control over these encounters? As we've mentioned before, it all starts with intention. Before sleep, tell yourself clearly, "Tonight I want to meet my spiritual guide and remember this experience when I wake up." Keep your notebook beside you, and as soon as you wake up, write everything down. Over time, you'll start to notice more clarity and even recurring themes in your dreams. Nightmares are one of the most intriguing phenomena of sleep, and their origins go far beyond just being a simple reflection of daily stress. Often, nightmares serve as symbolic messages from the unconscious, emotional alerts, or even experiences in denser dimensions of astral reality. But why do nightmares happen, and can we actually control them? Neuroscience studies show that the brain continues processing emotions while we sleep, organizing memories and trying to make sense of what we feel. The threat simulation theory, proposed by researcher Antti Rivansuo, suggests that nightmares are a natural brain mechanism to prepare us for real-life challenges and threats. On a deeper level, though, this may also mean that we're tuning into vibrational realities that match our inner state. Nightmares mostly occur during the REM phase of sleep, when the brain is highly active and processing memories and emotions. Psychologists like Sigmund Freud believe nightmares were repressed expressions of fears, and traumas from the unconscious. While Carl Jung saw them as the manifestation of deep archetypes within the human psyche, studies show that people who undergo traumatic events like loss, extreme stress, or anxiety tend to have more nightmares. This happens because the brain is trying to reorganize emotions and find a way to process difficult experiences. However, not all nightmares have a direct psychological cause. Some seem to emerge from mysterious sources. If nightmares are, in a way, a reflection of the emotional and energetic state before sleep, then we can take steps to avoid negative experiences and transform sleep into a time of learning and expansion. Here are some techniques you can try. Energy cleansing before sleep. Practices like burning sage, using incense, or visualizing light around your body can help create a more protected environment for sleep. Mental reprogramming. Replace negative thoughts before bed with affirmations like, "I sleep in peace and protection." This can completely change your experience. Avoid heavy and stimulating foods at night. Alcohol, caffeine, and heavy meals can interfere with sleep quality and increase the chances of nightmares. Write down and interpret nightmares. Often, nightmares carry valuable messages from the subconscious. Writing down the details can help you identify patterns and hidden meanings. Develop awareness in dreams. Lucid dreaming, learning to recognize when you are dreaming, can allow you to face the nightmare and even transform the experience into something positive. Although most people want to avoid nightmares, some spiritual traditions teach that they can be opportunities for learning. If a nightmare is recurring, it might be trying to teach you something. In some astral projection schools, practitioners train to stay calm within a nightmare and face it consciously. Often, they discover that the monster in the dream is actually a repressed part of themselves, asking to be integrated. If we can understand and reinterpret nightmares, we can transform fear into self-knowledge and growth. But why do we forget our dreams? Most people forget their dreams because, upon waking, the brain quickly shifts its focus to physical reality. During sleep, especially in the REM phase, the brain operates differently, accessing memories and creating symbolic narratives. When we wake up, the rational mind takes over and discards this information as irrelevant. Another reason dreams are forgotten is the lack of dream memory training. Like any other skill, the ability to remember dreams can be developed with practice, as mentioned earlier. Keeping a notebook by your bed and writing down everything you remember as soon as you wake up helps strengthen dream memory, even if at first it's just fragments. Over time, the details become clearer. Not moving immediately upon waking can also help, as the first few seconds after waking are crucial for remembering dreams. Try to remain still and reconstruct the images before getting up. Reducing stimuli before bed is also important. Too much screen time, blue light, and information overload before sleep can hinder dream retention. A peaceful environment promotes better recall. The dangers and challenges of the dream world are aspects that are often overlooked when talking about dreams and astral projections. While sleep can be a rewarding experience full of learning, there are also obstacles that can arise when exploring consciousness during this state. From recurring nightmares to encounters with unknown entities, it's essential to understand these challenges to navigate the dream universe safely. Sleep paralysis is a phenomenon that can be quite frightening. It occurs when a person partially wakes up but can't move, feeling a pressure on the chest and, in some cases, perceiving dark presences around them. Scientifically, sleep paralysis happens when the brain wakes up before the body, temporarily keeping the muscles locked to prevent movement during dreaming. However, some spiritual traditions suggest that this state can occur when consciousness suddenly returns from an astral experience, causing a momentary perception of parallel dimensions. If you experience sleep paralysis, the most important thing is to stay calm. Focus on your breathing, try to slowly move your fingers, and remember that it's temporary. Many people use this state as a portal for conscious experiences, turning sleep paralysis into an opportunity for astral projection. Another challenge in the dream world is encounters with unknown entities. Some people report dreaming of beings that seem more than just creations of the mind. These entities can be friendly, neutral, or even disturbing. But what are they? Many experts believe these figures are symbolic manifestations of the mind, reflecting repressed parts of the psyche. Some spiritual traditions claim that when we dream, we can interact with consciousnesses that inhabit subtle dimensions, such as spiritual guides or disembodied spirits. Intense emotions can create energy forms that temporarily take shape in dreams. The golden rule in these encounters is not to give in to fear. Fear can strengthen the presence of these entities and attract denser experiences. If you feel you're in a negative environment, practice energy protection techniques before sleep, like visualizing a light field around your body. Another issue some people face is excessive activity in dreams. When consciousness becomes too active in the dream world, you might wake up feeling mentally exhausted, almost as if you lived a second life while you slept. This can happen when there's a lot of emotional processing going on, or when you have many intense experiences during the night. To balance this, it's important to develop techniques for grounding your energy upon waking. Simple practices like drinking a glass of water, walking barefoot on the earth, or taking a shower can help reconnect you to your physical body and bring your awareness fully back to the present. If you want to navigate the dream world safely and make the most of your sleep experiences, here are 2 powerful practices to add to your nightly routine. Create a ritual before sleep. Meditation, prayer, or simply visualizing a protective light around your body can help shield your energy before entering the dream state. This not only protects you, but also sets a clear intention for the kind of experiences you want to have. Avoid negative content before bed. Horror movies, violent news, and arguments can all influence your dreams. Try to keep your mind calm and positive in the hour before sleep to encourage more peaceful and insightful dream experiences. Sleep is so much more than just a state of rest. It's a gateway to hidden dimensions of consciousness, a laboratory of the unconscious, and a powerful tool for spiritual evolution. Everything we experience while we sleep, from the most trivial dreams to the most intense astral projections, carries valuable messages about our mind, our energy, and our life's purpose. Now you know that your emotional state directly influences your nightly experiences. Then it's possible to program your mind to receive answers, and that even nightmares can be opportunities for learning and growth. Through techniques like dream journaling, lucid dreaming induction, and energy preparation before sleep, you can transform your nights into a period of consciousness expansion and self-discovery. If there's one thing that's clear after all of this, it's that you're never just out cold during the night. Your consciousness is always active, always exploring, always learning. So, what about you? Have you ever had any inexplicable experiences during sleep, lucid dreams, spiritual encounters, or sensations of leaving your body? Share your story in the comments, because your experience could help others better understand this invisible universe. And if you'd like a video diving deeper into any of the topics mentioned here, leave your suggestion as well. Your feedback helps shape the content of this channel and brings us all closer to understanding the mysteries of consciousness. If you want to take your mind to the next level, consider joining the Quantum Thinking 21-Day Challenge. In this program, you'll learn how to reprogram your consciousness and access new possibilities for your life. Check it out in the first pinned comment. Thank you for watching, and remember, every night is an opportunity to explore, to learn, and to grow. Sleep well, dream deeply, and see you in the next video.